So, the title today, uh, Two-Faced People Are the Worst. I just thought it was kind of catchy and funny. That's why I said that, right? Um, don't name a name.
Sean!
No. Shut up, man. But somebody comes to mind, maybe not, when you hear two-faced. Right? What do you think of when you hear of two-faced? Does anything ring a bell? Like, how would you describe that? Somebody that's like will look at you in the face, right? And will be your friend. But as soon as you walk away, they may not talk as highly of you. Right? Does anybody, none of y'all are on camera, okay? But
You are.
I am. And I'm gotten much more smarter and more strategic on what I do there. But if you are, guys, you're not on camera, but you think about if you're, let's say in the corporate world. Oh, maybe it's not y'all. Maybe it's not the same for y'all as it was for my experience in the corporate world, in retail corporate world. Everybody was, and it's like everybody's that's a big, it's like saying every time, and it's like those infinite things. So I'll say it again. Everybody I felt was in that way. The last time I worked in a corporate setting, I told myself that I was going to be like the best version of myself. I was going to be super nice, and I wasn't going to be like trying to move up. I wasn't going to try to like be super aggressive. And it's almost like I was like a wounded animal by not playing the game, because I felt like I got more attacked. It was so weird. So two-faced, and maybe y'all think of something different. Two-faced is me saying that I'm friends with Jason, but as soon as Jason and I aren't around each other, then I'm going to talk trash on Jason. See? Right? Hey, you've coached. You know what I'm saying? He's coached some sports, right? You've seen it where parents are supportive of you because they're trying to get their kids' playtime up, right? But you can also look through the fence and see them over there running their mouths too, right? And you're like, that's about me, right? Have y'all ever walked up into a room or walked up into a space and everybody goes quiet? I'm gonna be honest, that's happened to me a ton. At first, I didn't think anything about it. I just thought they were just happened to be sitting in a group and just weren't talking. You know what I'm saying? And then you realize you're like, that was 100% about me. And then if you get bold, you walk into those circles. You're like, what were y'all saying about me? That's a lot more fun to do than to make it awkward, right? But you know what I'm talking about, right? You know what two-faced is, right? You try to tell your kids this, and you try to coach your kids or mentor to your kids and tell them like, hey, don't try to be in a group of 12 people or 10 people. Because when you get to high school, that goes to like, when you get to be a senior, you're down to like 4 maybe. When you get to college, you don't even know those people anymore. Now you're down to probably 1 or 2 people, right? And by the time you get out of college, you may be down to one or none. Like your younger people, because what happens is the more people that are getting in a group, you get more peer pressure, right? Because people are going to party and sex and do all this, and then your child feels left out, and they're doing it, now they're normalized, and then here comes another sheep into the wolf pen, and you know what I'm saying? It's just a thing, right? But what happens is there's a lot of hurt. You know, kids get hurt. They're left out. There's all this many stuff here. What they find out is there's a lot of two-faced stuff going on there. Well, it's really no different, guys, in our walk today with us men. In our groups and who we are, like, do we genuinely like care about other people? Do we? I don't think it's that way in Fight Club, but there's so many times, if y'all ever been in a group, used to at our good old Southern Baptist Church, Wednesday night was prayer request night. If any of y'all ever been in a small Southern Baptist church, bless her heart. While y'all were working, your grandma was raising her sweet hand. Room full of people, so I need you to pray for Ryan. And it's where you can, I don't know if this is cool anymore. It's where you come get the tea. Not cool anymore, okay. Where you get the gossip. Because they'd say, I need y'all to pray for Ryan. And these old ladies, they just writing stuff. Right? They're all reporters is what they are. And they're saying, hey, pray for Ryan. He's an alcoholic. He's in rehab. Their marriage is not going well. They're not living together right now. So y'all pray for them. They need Jesus. Oh yeah, we're all praying for them. And then the next one, like, I need you to pray for Ricky. You know, Ricky's on drugs. Again. Y'all's prayers really worked the last time. But the devil got him. He's back on him. Right? I'm telling you, this is an hour long. You know, the preacher don't even preach. It's like that. Now, I don't think they do quite as much anymore. We don't have to. We put it on social media, you know. But I tell you that too because you tell people stuff like that and then they turn around. When people says, I'll pray for you, I always joke. I'm like, are you going to be like, pray? Or like Facebook pray? You know, like, you just want more. You want more info, right? But you can feel the difference when somebody's genuine about it, right? So, two-faced so anyway, I just want to share some variations with you there. What we're actually talking about is double-minded today. Double-minded is something that it's a trait or it's a characteristic that you've had, maybe have currently now, and it's really kind of understanding who you are. Like, if you can understand your body, you can understand the movement that it makes. If you can understand your mind, you can understand your thoughts. If you can understand your addictions, or like what gets your dopamine going, or what gets your arousal going, or what gets your heart rate going, or what, you know what I'm saying? Like, once you figure out what's going on internally, you can actually control stuff much better. You know, like if Carter's in baseball, like now he's working on like certain mechanics to get to, it's not, what he's working on now is not the finished product, okay? It's what contributes to the finished product, right? So the way to do that is they have to break down the very first movement, and then everything here, it's like a shutter, where, you know, a shutter photo where it's, you know, it takes 1,000 little, you know, things. That's what they're going to do, is they're going to dissect every movement, every hip, right? I have a confession to make. I went to a golf lesson yesterday. I know. Y'all better watch out. I'm just telling you, like, y'all laugh till I'm like, Ryan's not here. Where he's in the pro circuit. That's what he's doing. You know, whatever. Right? By the way, people have picked me so many times because they think I'm a ringer.
I'll pray for you.
I know, right? Yes. Thank you. And that'll change into, oh yeah, he's on the drugs. Because in the South we put the in front of everything. The Sonic, the Walmart, yeah, everything. But what's funny is he said, all right, well, let's see what you got. Put the ball up and everything. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I never hit my driver. You can ask Carter. We go play, I just never hit my driver. Sean, you know, them guys will just rope it, and I'm not. I just said, I'll get up there with mine. Let's go. But he's like, immediately, I was like, he's going to just butcher me on what I'm doing. And he really didn't. I think he was just, he's getting paid, so yeah. He was super like, oh man, I think I really like what I'm seeing here. Let's just work on a couple things. I'm like, you got 30 minutes, I get you. Like, I get what. So why do I share that with you? Because to get the end result, to get what I'm trying to get to, it's the breakdown of things, of movements of every little thing. It's a head, it's a focus, it's a this foot, this hip, not that foot, this before that. You know what I'm saying? The club head's up here, not closed. I mean, it was a couple things, right? Quite a few. It's a lot. It's a lot of moving things. Some people naturally just go up there and just do it. And I understand that sometimes I need to like check into it and learn a little bit more. Some of you guys have done the same thing. What we're talking about with being double-minded is you have to understand, it says in here, what it means to be double-minded is a person has two conflicting minds, trying to serve God and the world. This is a hard thing. Like, you can say, like, that's not me, man. Okay. It probably could be in some capacity, or it has been. Or someone else is close to you that you can lean into. In the scripture says, but let him ask, in James 1:6-8, it says, let him ask in faith without doubting, for the doubter is like the surging sea, driven and tossed by the wind. The person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord, being double-minded and unstable in all his ways. How many times have I pleaded to God or asked God for something in one moment, but in other moments, I did not look like his son. I did not look like his believer. You know, like how many times was I the person on the boat as the disciples where like I wasn't praying, I wasn't reading, I wasn't believing, I wasn't faithful, I wasn't portraying my life in or out as a Christian until like the waves started crashing, and then I'm pleading like, God, please make this storm stop. Oh God, I love you so much. God, I will do all this if you will do that. You know? Where I try personally, my biggest battle more than other things, it's not addiction whatsoever. That's so far removed. It's really about understanding my mind and understanding how I personally am double-minded more than I would really like to be. I'm just being honest, super transparent. The battle between unemployment, giving God 90% of your day, thoughts, actions, heart, to then be given what you prayed for exactly, when there's no way that those two that prayer could become that reality by my doing, but by his love and his deliverance of. But getting in that season now and then thinking like, whoa, what am I giving God now? Like I'm not in this season. I'm not on that boat. The waves aren't crashing. Like, am I being double-minded? Like, do I only reach out? Does this part only reach out to God when it's in distress? When it's uncomfortable? When things are bad? When somebody's sick? When I'm fearful? But is this side when things are rolling, where I don't have to look at the bank account before I transact? Is God given the glory during that season? Right? Because there is a certain level where you got to fear God. Like, He wants us to celebrate Him when things are rolling. That's why I see it in Fight Club. Which has been going on for close to 4 years, right? You can see it. Y'all guys have seen it in here too, where a guy comes in and they're super distressed and things are not right. You know, like I probably know more of that because of those conversations. But then when things start tracking, it's crickets. Like, they're gone. I'm just being honest. What's crazy is they're not gone from just showing up in here. They're gone from in there too. And I'm like, ooh, ooh. You playing with fire. If you're a believer, you're playing with fire. Because if God has a path for your life, He's going to put you right back into that seat if that's where you're designed to be. And I believe God will put us in that seat, men, if we're not seeing Him or understanding Him, and if we're not tracking. He's like, no, okay, good. I gave it to you. You didn't steward it. I'm fixing to get your attention again. And so when we're looking at this double-minded, guys, he tells us in the scriptures in James here, it says, you're tossed by the wind. He says, a person should not expect to receive anything. You shouldn't expect to receive anything from the Lord if you're double-minded and unstable in his ways. Anything. So that's harsh. Like, okay. He didn't say, he just said if you're sitting there and you're double-minded, just don't expect. You can't get one and the other. Like, you've got to make a decision. And as men, that's probably one of the biggest problems we have as men in this world, and what's happened to our society and what's happened to our government, all this other stuff, is that us as men, we can't make a decision and hold our feet firm. We can't say, like, no, that's unacceptable. No, that's not coming in my house. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't need your friendship because you are not aligned with my God. You're a bad influence. I don't want to be around you. I don't have to tell you that. I can just not be around you. You know what I'm saying? If every time I'm around some guy and he's always talking about some women and sex and or wanting to get drunk or I don't get drunk. I'm like, dude, you drank like 5 bourbons. Just because you're pouring it in a little glass with this much bourbon in it, you're still you drunk 5. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying you're an alcoholic. I'm not saying you should. That's none of my business. That's between you and God. I'm just saying that I can't talk about God with you when you're sitting there doing that. It's kind of hard. Just saying. It's kind of hard to go play golf with me and John. Go play golf if he's filling. I'm sitting over here putting my golf shoes on and he's filling the cooler up full of beer and ice. It's kind of hard to have those spiritual conversations out there on hole 3. Now, I'm not hating on anybody. Y'all do y'all. I'm saying for me, okay? So don't take this any other way. Everybody has their. I'm saying that, like, I've noticed in my life that roller coaster of jobs and employment, stuff like that, a lot of that was self-sabotage by me being double-minded, not making a decision to be for God only and being for the world and God. And I think God's like, Ryan, I got something for you, but I'm going to break you until you figure it out. I'm going to keep taking away. I'm going to give you something. I'm going to take it away. I'm going to give you something until you give it to me. And that doesn't change today because I'm 44. Like, I know it's not over. The ride's not over, right? It's just, we got to be realistic. I mean, there's grown men in here that's lost their jobs that are older than me that, like, things happen. We have loss in family. It's not over. When you read this, double-mindedness is living in the 2 worlds. If you read the scripture here in Matthew 6:24, it says, you cannot serve 2 masters, since he will either hate one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Now, it says money in here, but it's not just that. Like, he's saying that you can't have both. You can't have both. Like, you have to choose. You might say, well, yeah, I can have both. If it's God's plan for you, because he knows you can be a good steward, he will bless your life. Right? There's some of y'all in here, like, financially are pretty, you're okay. Right? Some of you aren't. But if God has a plan for you to do something for him and your finances get in the way of that, then you may be trying to get something that you're never going to be able to get because God knows that when you get it, you're not going to steward it right. You just aren't. when I was, that's probably, I was real arrogant when I started making some money, which was not that much money looking back on it now, but to me it was like, I've arrived, you know? Mike, you laugh about that, but I mean, I'm telling you, when Lindsay, we got married, I'm 44, we got married 19 and 20, me and Lindsay did. Okay, so we've been married 24 years. In Corinth, Mississippi, a store called Casabella Furniture. I'm Ryan Casabella, just saying, you know. That was kind of the same thought process back then too. And Mississippi rich. And I remember I was knocking out about, Joe, I think I might have been up to about 50, 45, 36,000 a year. Okay? Just out of high school. I am in a 1995 Bonneville. Blue. Honeycomb wheels. They were like, you can't clean them. Like, they were like, unbelievable. Yeah. But it's $4,000 car. So, oh. And you're talking kids, right? I pulled in the Arby's parking lot. And I remember telling her that I said, I'm going to be a millionaire by the time I'm 30. I was like 20, I guess, then, right? How messed up a perspective was I given, or had created in my mind, knocking down 35 grand a year, getting married at 20 in Corinth, Mississippi, driving a 1995 Bonneville in an Arby's parking lot, and said those words. I remember them like they were yesterday. So God knew when I chose to follow Him that He had a lot of work to do with this guy. Right? God, it wasn't God's plan.
So you're not a millionaire?
No. No.
Got you out of the trailer.
No. Yeah. Yeah. But you know, I share stuff, but think about it, guys. How many times in your life though have you either told yourself something or told somebody else something that you look back at it now and you're thinking, "Boy, was I thinking?" Right? I got told when I first got married, basically like, I need to tell Lindsay how it is, what she's going to do. It's not a discussion. I did that. Her mother called me. Her aunt called me. We didn't have insurance when we first got married with Emma. We didn't have health insurance. She got pregnant. It's a lot of money, right? I had to sell like a four-wheeler or a gun. I'm not kidding. I mean, like all this like little bit of assets I have was all gone to try to pay for this, because I was also told you had to pay it off before the baby was born. And we had a mutual friend. My family, somebody at my business had a friend that was friends with the doctor in town, the gynecologist in town. They told him about what happened. He said, "Well, we'll cut the price for him. She can come here, and we'll give her a discount, right?" I'm in retail, like we're all bartering, right? Right? The same guy is like 95% predicted people the wrong gender on everybody's baby he's doing. Like, you've got a boy, and then they have like twin girls, right? So like, this is the same doctor. So what did I do? I'll tell you what I did. I went home, Randy, and I said, "Lindsay, you're going to Dr. So-and-so." She said, "Do what now?" "You're going to go there. We've worked it out. You're going to go there." She went one time. Cried the whole time. Doctor's like, "It's okay. It's okay. Pregnancy's." No, she was crying because she was in his office, right? He gets something out and tells her she's like 22 weeks, and she's like 10, right? She left there and crying and everything else, and it was the worst decision ever. Needless to say, she did not go back there, right? But I had my mind, though, I thought I was doing what was right. In my mind, it was like I was so like willing to go to fight. It was a bad fight. It was a bad fight to do that because I had this thought like this was the right thing to do. You see, guys, I'm telling you these things because we've got to like be able to label this stuff in our head to be able to figure it out. So when we're trying to get to that end results of whatever that is, we've got to start going back to the first steps to break down every movement till we get to the end result. We always want the end result, right? Just give me the money, God. I don't want to go through all that stuff, right? Just give me the house or just give me X. I don't want to go through all that other stuff. And I'm saying that our growth comes from that other stuff. And I think it's a prevention of having to keep going back through a valley if we learn those things. A guy keeps getting injured, working out. Well, you're probably doing it wrong. You know? But why is that? Well, because you just go in, you put the plates on there, and you just start pumping. Like, once you do less weight, slow it down and see if you're doing something that's bringing your back involved when it shouldn't be or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like you're doing squats or something, right? Like, I can't do squats, it hurts my back. I'm like, well, I've seen you, and you put like half the gym weight on there, you know? When you look at this biblical examples, and we'll go through this, Judas, Samson, and the rich ruler. The reason why I put Judas on here is that it said like double-minded, whatever. Like Judas is a great example of a guy that was living double-minded. Like everybody's perception was that he was in the fold, like he's part of the people, he's part of the group. It says he handled the money, he listened to the sermons, but in the end he betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. He's no different from us. Judas, he betrayed God. But it'd be a great argument to say that I betrayed God. I'm just being honest. Everything he did for me, everything he's done for me, there's no way that I've earned any of that. And he's the only one that's ever done anything for me that's not asked for something. Like, you know, or expected something, or I had to work for it. Like he says, no, I'm just going, I love you, I'm just going to give it to you. He's just going to give it to you. Like, it would be a great argument to say that I was a Judas. Why you say, why, Ryan? Because I've sat in church, I've listened to sermons, I've received his love and his mercy and his grace freely. I was chosen the same as Judas was chosen in Matthew. I love you. I know what kind of person you are, but I'll accept you anyways. I know you're a porn addict and I've literally cheated on everybody you've ever dated. But if you'll surrender your life to me, you can come on in the boat. Like, that's who we serve. You a shady man. You sketchy. You don't, you know. But if you're willing to put that aside and don't live a double life, don't be two-faced, because I can see everything, then you can come on in the boat. Like Judas he knew Judas who Judas was. Judas couldn't be trusted. And then he puts him over the money. That's pretty whack, right? That's crazy. He knows I was an alcoholic, but I'm around it all the time. So where are you going, right? Everywhere you go is there. You go to Mississippi, it's not quite everywhere, because everybody goes across state lines to buy their alcohol, so nobody sees them because they go to church with them, so they don't want anybody to see them buying their alcohol, right? So you see all you church people across the state line buying their alcohol. Y'all know what I'm talking about, maybe. That's a southern thing. But it'd be a great argument, though, to say it's the same similarity. The difference is it's double-minded. I could easily start back drinking and hiding it with traveling and working and stuff, right? I'm fixing to go out of town for market. It never crosses my mind. Never. It never does. Like, I'm not saying it to make y'all think I'm better. Y'all don't think what y'all need to about me. I'm telling you that in a hotel room for 6 nights, I'm not tweaking on like I need something to drink. I'm not going to dinner where everybody's drinking and they ain't sipping. You know? Because, as I said, everybody's looking for a reason to party. I mean, it kills me at Christmas and Thanksgiving. And people are having throwdowns, family throwdowns for holidays. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay. Like New Year's is coming up. Can y'all just wait? Sorry. But you see what I'm saying though? Like, don't think that Judas is such this like horrific person. No, he was Ryan. So put my name in his spot. Jesus even kissed him on the cheek at the end and said, friend. It was like one more like, Judas, are you sure you're going to go through with this? Judas like, hey, this is him. How do you know who he was? Because Jesus loved him so much that he had that relationship, he could identify him. How do I identify God? Because you know what God's done in your life. You know what he's done in your life. It may be big and it may be small. You could identify Jesus just the same. Your health of your kids, your marriage, your jobs, your forgiveness, your support, your strength, your one call, your support system, your everything. Like, you know who Jesus is too. You could identify him. But Judas was living it. He could not give up that other crooked part of himself enough that he took his life. He couldn't live with it. He was living two different things. That's what I think. A lot of men have taken their life because of the same scenario. I know them. I know some that's tried and didn't succeed because they couldn't live with what they've done. Their sin. It was like the last affair. They've had 20 affairs, and they knew this was like it. Like, she was really going to leave him this time. She probably wouldn't. She didn't leave you the last 19. And you like that. Like, you like that. You like to get punched. Like, you like self-sabotage. It's part of it. Right? Judas is not, he's terrible, I get it. But he's just, it's normalized if you think about Judas in a different way than just somebody. It's easy to talk about you. It's easy to talk about you when you walk off. It's easy to talk about Judas because he's not here. But if Judas was here, guys, you wouldn't be able to find him. Because his sin is pretty normalized to me. Now, he did betray Jesus, I get it. But Jesus lives. Like, God lives. I betray him all the time. I let him down all the time. The difference is I have forgiveness. You have forgiveness. But, like, I'm not better than this person. I'm fortunate I get continual forgiveness now. And I get to read these kind of stories to prevent me from hopefully doing stuff, to be a better person. When you read about Samson was called, anointed, and empowered, but he wanted both God's power and the pleasures of sin. Samson and Delilah. Then she cried, Samson, the Philistines are here. When he awoke, he said, I will escape as I did before and shake myself free. But he did not know that the Lord had left him. Samson's kind of funny. I was reading this or seeing this, and I thought about this scripture. Y'all know Samson, this dude's a stud. I mean, you think of like that guy that's just like good, that jawline, that muscle, the look, the hair. The dude is just like everybody knows who Samson is, right? And he knew from birth that like he had to live a certain way. But what did he do when he wasn't around mama? Let's go, right? Partying, sinning, women, right? He get around mom. Mom was like, "How'd your day go?" "Oh, mom, dad, it went really good. It went really good. We went to church this morning. It was great service. It was really good, mom. And I helped some people along the road. There was an animal, that had died, and I prayed over it, and there was there was some guys trying to bully up on some people, and I found a bone, and I beat them up, mom, and took care of them, and whatever I can do for God because of what all He's given me, you know, and I just, you know, God, I just love God, Mom. I just want to live the life that He's given me and stay within the guidelines that He told me to stay in and not do those things He told me not to do, because I'm so appreciative of having this strength and this power and how He's given me the assignment to bring His people and to do all, you know. Like, I wonder what He brought home to His parents versus who He was outside of that. I think it was pretty exposed when He brought somebody home that parents didn't agree with in the beginning. I'm saying that, like Samson, it said that he didn't even understand. He had gotten so caught up double-minded. Like when he woke up and they were like, "Hey, they're coming to get you." Samson's like, "Dude, I'm finna get them." And then he realized that God had left him. He woke up and realized God had left him. How many times have I woke up and immediately I didn't feel the presence of God? I've definitely been there. Because I'd abandoned Him. And I was so sure on my life and so sure on the things that were going on. I was like, "No, bro, I'm good. God's got me. We get forgiven God. Like, He's got to, right? He's got to do this for me. Because I got saved, 20 years ago. Like, He's got to do this for me." So, yeah, maybe, but it doesn't mean I get to live whatever kind of life I want to live. Right? Samson, you do have those things. It doesn't mean you can go do whatever you want to do. Like, there's repercussions to it, right? You can't be two-faced. You can't be double-minded. Like, just make a decision. And then the rich young ruler, okay, he's the one that, he had everything. And the guy, he said, "Hey, I'll tell you what, just when Jesus heard, he told him, "Hey, you still like one thing." He said, "Just sell everything and distribute it to the poor, and you will have your treasure in heaven. I'll give you heaven. Just show me something. Like, what would you do for me? What could you do to help other people?" And he says, "Then you can come and follow me." After he heard this, he became extremely sad because he was very rich. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. It doesn't always have to be money. It could be time. Right? So what's a rich ruler? Yeah, okay. It could be time. You could give your time to everything but God. You could be a workout guy. You could be a podcaster. You could be at the church, and I see you everywhere because you sign up for everything, right? But it don't mean doesn't mean you're ahead of me in line. It doesn't. It just means you're doing more. It just means that you are filling your time up more, but it doesn't mean that you're growing in your walk with God. The rich ruler, he just says, "Because you have a wealth, show it to me. Show me what you'll do." Like, that was just something that he carried close to him. He said, "Okay, well, just show me that you're willing to set it aside for me." Like, that happened to people in the Bible, and they ended up getting like 10 times what they gave up. Or what they, Decide to be fully committed, and this is the final scripture here. It says, "Therefore," in Hebrews 12:13, this is really where today's message kind of came from, where I kind of pulled it from. It says, "Therefore, since we were also such a large cloud of witnesses surrounding us, let us lay aside every hindrance and the sin that so easily ensnares us. Let us run with endurance the race that lies before us, keeping your eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith. For the joy that lay before him, he endured the cross, so that we won't grow weary and give up." The biggest part of this, guys, and we'll wrap up, is it says that let us lay aside every hindrance and the sin that is so easily ensnares us. Lay aside everything that is hindering you to get to that relationship with God. We can prevent a lot of stuff in our path if we can just break down our movements and go, not healthy, not good, no fast, start fasting. Stop social media. Stop hanging out with certain people. Stop watching certain shows. Stop listening to certain music. Give something. Maybe you need to stroke a check to something. Just to humanize yourself, to show that you can do it. Not me, I don't need it. The church, some ministry out there that, I'm saying, break down your movements. Figure out why you're double-minded. You say, well, I'm not, Ryan, I'm good. Like, I'm not. No, I know. But don't tell yourself that. Because we always are going to be sinful because we're in this world. We have flesh. Like, don't be okay with that. Don't think that you're a 10. Because you're the only one that thinks that. Like, look for things that you can break down and fix because that's the only way you get better. I didn't want to go out there and take a golf lesson yesterday, right? I just want to go up and hit the ball and all y'all be like, what? This guy's amazing. I can't even, it's so far. Like, I want to be the guy on there where you see him at, where he's hitting in the net and they're like telling him to stop because he's hitting over the net. You see on the videos where they're stroking like 500, but I'm not there, right? But I have to be okay with getting some lessons to breaking it down to get to where I'm trying to get to. To be double-minded, the main thing, guys, if we want to grow in all aspects of life is looking into this part here and figuring out like, hey, God, where can you help me in here so I can be better out there, right? Two-faced people are the worst. It's kind of a funny thing. Just think about it. Let's grow together. Let's help others. What you gain, you can share. Far greater than any riches. And grow people from understanding who we are to be better for other people. It's okay to not be okay. God will take care of that part. And then we'll continue to grow through that. Thank y'all guys. If you will, do your questions and pray out. And that's it.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank y'all.